Okay, welcome back to part two. I'm having, of course, my camera, the reason I'm having to do these in two parts, of course, this is episode two, part two of episode two, which is technically part four of coloring Moka Akashia. Um, if you've seen the first one, then you know I've been using a combination of about three colors to achieve these shadowy effects on her face. And let's see. I've been using the E11 Barley Beige, the EO00 Pale Fruit Pink, and ROO Pinkish White. And you can kind of see where I'm going with this. Now here comes where this is where the tricky part will come. Now, you'll probably notice that when I applied grays to her hair up here, I used the cool grays. But, well, and now when you're doing regular skin tones on regular portraits that aren't, well, vampires, you probably could get away with doing warm grays to emphasize shadows a little bit more. But in Moka's case, and in the interest of making this image more interesting, let's see. Let's see. Now, hopefully y'all can still hear me. After this. Sometimes, and of course I have my Wonder Woman case here. I do tend to keep a lot of my grays in here because I never know when I'm going to do a sketch, and of course my favorite one, I will probably at the end of this episode I will show y'all some work that I've done with the Copics here as of late. Now, black, we won't need black until we get right into here and some of those details here, and in her gloves too. Now, warm gray would normally be what we would use in a situation like this. But what I'm actually going to start with first, seeing as how Moka is a vampire and the shadows do tend to not be so warm, I'm going to start out with the neutral gray. That's the NO right here, brush tip, and I'm going to come in right in here, and I'm going to establish this shape right in here. Now you're probably going, John, why are you putting that in there like that? That's just muddying up the color. Okay, and I'm also going to put the same color right in here where you have that really hard cast shadow right in there. And then I'm going to basically every spot where you've seen me where that cast shadow comes in, and then come in here and do the flick. Now all that's doing is preparing the way for me to go in and get the number one cool gray, and then kind of go in like this. Okay, and this will cool it down a little bit more. Really, all I'm doing, and if it looks like I'm experimenting a little bit, it's probably because I am. A little bit, don't feel too bad. Put a little bit of that here. And all I'm really doing right now is preparing the way for me to put in, to start introducing the green of the cast shadow coming from her hair, because a little bit of that green color kind of pokes out. you know, and then there's a little bit of it casting from like in this side, and this is oh, and I forgot to tell you, this is Gray Sky BG90. Okay, now for the BG93 Gray Sky, well, the green gray. Okay. Okay, y'all see that? Look at how striking that is, and it's showing up really well on the camera. Now I'm going to come in, because for some reason some of that green under the neck that I've noticed is casting a shadow, and I love the effect that it gives on the paper. And then, of course, situations like this, you can go back in and, let's see, the situation like this, I would use the colorless blender. Now notice the green up in here isn't showing up as much, but that's alright, because now I went in and I did that. Now I can take the zero colorless blender and I can soften that, and I can soften this and just blend those gray colors in together, and just kind of soften this just a little bit. Don't have to do it too much. Alrighty, and that is pretty much, let's see, and of course, you know, where you see it again, you repeat it in spots like up in here. Now, let's see, and then you can come in right in there, and then blend that out. Let's see. So a little bit of that gray in there, and then I'm going to take, you see I'm just kind of cleaning up the shapes in here, and it adds a lot of interest to the overall piece. Alrighty, and that kind of goes through basically what I'm looking for when I go to establish in shadows and things like that. And if you look in some of the spots, like right up in here, you just put a little dab right in there, and then you can actually go in and see. And this is another way where I don't want the other grays to kind of muddle it in so heavy. You see how that just blends out right in there. Let's see. And also in some spots around where her, like up in here, you'll notice sometimes too, you'll get that just little subtle hint of the gray right in there. Not too much. You definitely don't want to overpower that. And then, let's see, and there's another color that I do notice that kind of seems to poke out in some places, is the E43, the dull ivory. Kind of just stick it in places like that where you stuck the gray. You can go in and just kind of another color that I will go to sometimes. Mainly at this point, I'm trying to make the illustration, well, my version of it, a little bit more interesting. And of course, like I said, I won't go through and color every single part of this drawing. And looking at my reference image, there is another cast shadow right there, ever so slightly. Now you're probably going, why did he just draw that line in through there? Because of the cast shadow that is right there. It comes off of this strand of hair here. And there we go. Now, of course, later on, excuse me, later on, if I wanted to, I could come in with colored pencils and I can clean some of this up. I can add more green. I can do more if I wanted to. Okay, and one last thing that we are going to do is I'm going to take some of this color blush and just kind of just put a couple of dabs right in here. Okay, and then I'm going to take my lighter color, the pinkish white, and I'm going to blend that. I'm going to blend that out. Now, it's not in the original image, but I like the way it looks. So, and now you can take the colorless blender and then just kind of go like that. Not in the original image, but it adds interest to my piece because I want my piece to be set apart from the original. Now I'm going to take some more of that pink blush color. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to start on her lips, and you'll notice right in here that I already have a lot of this mapped out of where I'm going. And then I'm going to take, let's see. Alright, and now I'm going to reach for another color called the Rose Salmon, and that is RO2, Rose Salmon, and then I'm going to go for the color Light Prawn, R22. Okay. And then just kind of go in places and just kind of touch it up a little bit. You know, always make the top lip darker. Now the top lip will always be darker and like more in these little creases right in here. Little rule of thumb that I like to follow. And at this point the reference is just there to kind of give me a guide, and I'm making all of the artistic license decisions on my own at this point. And it's you can be pretty safe in making this part right in here. Now if I wanted to, which this image is kind of screaming at me to do this, you can go in with the color R24, which before we had light prawn, now R24 is just plain straight up prawn. And this will be the last thing I show y'all today. Kind of go through and just dab with the tip of the brush on this marker up in here. Yeah, it's kind of, you know. And there we go. And usually at this point, like if I wanted to go, and kind of like that lip, especially the very top of it, now I can come in, you know, and I'm having fun with the original image now. And I'm coming in with R29, the lipstick red, and then I'm just dabbing the color right along there. And if I wanted to, I could come in and I could take a white jelly roll pen, which, you know, I'll demonstrate a little bit of that for you. Okay. And these are the white jelly roll number 8, 08. You know, this say Japan Sakura on them. I'm blowing a little bit. Make sure that it's a little dry. And I can come in, reestablish some highlights, and I can put some lines in here. Probably don't show up on the camera too good. And kind of add a little bit of visual interest. Okay? And let's see. And that pretty much does it for this week's episode here. I hope y'all have enjoyed this.